So there's reality as is, and then there's the reality that we construct with our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our stories. And invariably, when the two collide, then this whole idea of seeking comes up, because we feel that something's not quite enough. And what happens is, because of all the conditioning that we have and all the stories that we have in place, when these stories and this conditioning and these thoughts and these feelings, emotions meet what actually is, we find ourselves in a position of a lot of resistance and a lot of agitation, as we want our ideas about realization and our ideas about life to be correct. We want the ideas that we have about self-realization or life or pretty much anything to be validated, and for life to give us in a lovely little box with a gorgeous bow on top what we've always wanted. And sometimes there's what we want and there's what we need, and life is not even quite possibly the best judge of character for that. And it's incredible what happens when we keep resisting what actually is. And it's incredible also the sense of relaxation and release when we just surrender to life and surrender to the moment as is. And what we find is there's a real ease, and there's a real ease, and there's a real sense of relief that we don't have to try or make effort or what have you. And the reason I'm pretty much talking about this particular topic today was about a week ago. I was the last 4 or 5 years have seen me, traveling around the world and talking to people. And although it's all been real fun and games, I found that there's been some resistance because of the amount of responsibility that's involved, or whether I can even do a decent job in communicating this reminder. I have fully admitted in other videos that there are people who can do a better job than I do at this communication. And that, with other factors, have created a situation where I was looking to do anything but teach or anything but communicate this reality. And it came to a head about a week ago when there was finally an acceptance of what I actually am and what actually is actually happening here with these videos and everything. And well, not even everything, with how I'm teaching and what my life's purpose is. And it's something that I really resisted, and it's something that I found hard to admit, that I'm now teaching. I'm seen as a teacher, and that I have something to say. And it's something I see in the spiritual community sometimes. There's people saying, well, I've got nothing to say or nothing to do. Then why exactly are you up there doing nothing and what have you? But that again is like a topic for another video. But in my own personal experience, what I found was when there was this acceptance of what actually is and what's actually happening to me at this moment in time, there was this real release and a real deep sense of relaxation. What was incredible was the amount of energy that I put into this turmoil, into this whole idea of like, I'm teaching, but I don't really want to teach. And, I'm resisting the idea of being a teacher. I'm resisting the idea of accepting. I'm resisting the idea of, talking to people about this stuff. There was just this sense of a real deep sense of relaxation and a real sense of ease. And what I found is that just accepting as is what's actually happening in this moment has led to all of a sudden my work just mushrooming and going wherever I need to go. Because now the idea of someone trying to do something or someone trying to make something happen is dead. And I know it's something that's happened to other teachers, and I know it's something that it happens to all of us, that something happens and the idea of looking for something is let go of, and we find that we're right here now, and that's it. There isn't anywhere else to go. And there is a deepening of that. And then something as complicated as far as you're concerned as talking to people comes along, and it's all fun and games at the beginning, and then all of a sudden it starts getting a bit bigger, and all of a sudden there's more responsibilities, and this can be applied to any area of your life, whether it's a business or a job or a relationship. And there's a point where it gets serious, and you think to yourself, I'm not quite ready for this. I don't think I can actually do this. And what you do is, you engage in the dance, you self-sabotage, you try everything you possibly can not to accept the elephant in the room. And there's invariably a buildup of energy. There's invariably this real sense of struggle to keep this narrative in place, even though you do know that what's going to happen is going to happen. It's the same with seeking. It's like we're seeking, but ultimately we do know what it is that we're seeking for. And it's incredible when sometimes that breaks through. I last year was in Slovenia, and I was talking to a woman, and she almost let out an involuntary growl when she was confronted on the fact that she already did know, and she knew exactly what she had to do, and she knew exactly where she had to go, and she knew exactly what she had to accept. And it's incredible when that release happens, because there's just this sense of relaxation. This has nothing to do with me now in terms of personhood or trying to. And it becomes quite playful. And what you'll find is insight comes into play as well. And understanding comes into play, and being able to do so much more comes into play. And it all comes into play when we surrender to what is, when we surrender to life, when we let go, when this idea of this concept of doership, or this idea of I'm someone doing something, or I'm going to get somewhere, is just let go of, because it's not needed anymore. And when you realize it's not needed, life takes care. And I've said in previous articles as well that we are then functioning in our natural state, in an operating system that's so intrinsic to us that it is us. And it's something that, as we're seeing events unfolding in the world, is going to be needed more and more. We will come to realize that as this pace of change quickens, the only way really to adapt, or the only way really to make sense of this, is to let go, is to let the mind go, let the ideas go. And these record levels of anxiety that we're seeing, these record levels of depression that we are seeing, is pretty much because of the fact that we're resisting what is. We're resisting our inherent wholeness. We're resisting this oneness. We're resisting who we actually truly are. And that takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of energy. And like I said, just in a small example with myself, I've resisted the idea of talking. I've resisted the idea of teaching. I've resisted the idea with these ideas that I'm not good enough, or that what have I got to say, or oh God, what's going to happen? How will this be organized? And recently it was just seeing that it has nothing to do with me. It really isn't anything of my concern, whether I will speak, whether I will remain silent, whether I will even record another video after this is really not up to me, because the idea of individuality, of an individual that can do something, is redundant. And the sooner we can see that, we can reconnect, although that's not the correct word, and we can just rest as we truly are. And what we find is that release drops all the tension and the story and the drama and the amount of energy that we're using to keep, all that energy we're using to keep these ideas in place. So what I'm finding is, and it's something I'm seeing around me, is that the more we resist what is, the more we are setting ourselves up for this agitation, for this suffering, for this using so much energy. And yes, we can argue that it's the play of life, it is as it is, and understanding will occur as and how. And I fully concede that. But I feel that these videos are just, in a sense, a reminder, and if they can do something for someone to just loosen that grip of that story, of that mind, or that idea of doership or personhood, of someone actually trying to, chart a course to enlightenment, that if these videos can in any way kind of help someone to just ease off and realize that, God, I'm putting so much energy and I'm putting so much effort into doing something that occurs quite naturally to me. As I've said so many times, and I've said in previous videos as well, that this is so intimate, so intrinsic to us, that there is no effort required. There is probably more effort in breathing. There's more effort in doing those tasks that you don't even think of. Like making a cup of tea, cleaning the house, driving a car, going to work. And if we can just let that go, the contraction blows open into this expansiveness, into this universe that we actually are. And life is seen as is. And concepts disappear and they're dropped, and ideas disappear, and the mind is quietened or silenced or whatever. And then we start operating from a completely different place from the story. And then life is seen as is, and everything is, as I've said so many times, a standing, sitting, and walking meditation.